Hey guys, welcome back to day 2 of my vegan challenge week. This is an entire week where I challenged myself to eat totally vegan and I shared all the recipes I made along the way. So let's go ahead and jump into what I had for breakfast for day 2. And for breakfast this morning, I'm making a tofu, kale, and sweet potato scramble, and I'm using super firm tofu. By the way, don't let that expiration date scare you. This was filmed a couple of months ago. And to prep my tofu, I am putting it in between 2 paper towels and then adding some weight on top of it. This is going to help draw out some of the excess water that is in the tofu. Otherwise, you kind of have to wait for it to cook down on the stove top. And I'm leaving it like that for about 45 minutes. And then I am chopping up some onion, which is essential to me in a breakfast scramble, as well as chopping up some sweet potato. And this I just chopped up into kind of bite-sized pieces. And then I boiled the sweet potato for about 10 minutes, just so it could become a little bit more tender. And now I'm finally breaking up the tofu. I'm just crumbling it into the pan. That way it mimics the look of scrambled eggs. And then I'm adding garlic powder, turmeric, which is going to give it that yellow color, as well as some cumin. And all these spices mixed together really help flavor the tofu. And just a quick tip, I would try increasing the spices on this because it takes a lot to flavor tofu. I didn't know that at the time, so I really should have added more. But yeah, you can see with the turmeric added in there, it really gets that bright yellow color. And then I added in my chopped onions, my kale, as well as my sweet potato. I did let the onions cook a while in there first before adding the kale and sweet potato. And here is the finished result. Now I do want to be honest with you guys, as beautiful as this did come out, I wasn't as in love with the flavor of this as much as I was in love with the way that it looked. I did find it to be just a little bit on the bland side. I think if I ever make it in the future, I'll probably add in some cherry tomato or just some more diverse flavors in there because it just was a little bit bland. It was really nice and comforting, just wasn't as flavorful as I wanted it to be. Again, guys, this was vegan challenge week for me, so it was a week filled with all new recipes for the most part, so yeah, there you go. And because I couldn't finish my tofu scramble, I did have a mid-morning fruit salad, so I was just adding some strawberries, some grapes, as well as blueberries in there. And then on the side of that, I did add some roasted seaweed. This is the sweet and salty pack. And then on top of that, I just had a glass of ice water with some lemon in there. And that was it. It was super delicious. I love mixing fruits together like this. They just taste so good. Now, I definitely feel like lunch and dinner made up for my kind of underwhelming breakfast recipe. And for lunch, I'm having some avocado toast. I just scooped out some avocado, chopped up some cilantro, and I'm adding some salt, pepper, and a healthy squeeze of lime juice. And then I'm just mixing it all together with a fork. I like to keep mine a little bit on the chunky side. I just think it tastes better that way. And then for my bread, I'm using rye bread that I picked up. It's kind of like artisan rye bread. And I'm just spreading some of the avocado mixture on top of each. And then on top of that, I'm adding in some crushed red pepper. I feel like that is one thing that just makes this recipe. And then I also added on some cilantro on top and then a little bit of extra lime on the side. And this is just super satisfying. I love how creamy this tastes and it's just so good. The texture of the toasted artisan bread and the creamy avocado. And then I had some nice iced tea on the side. It just was like the best lunch ever. For dinner, I made probably one of the best tasting recipes I've ever made in my life, and it was buffalo cauliflower mac and cheese. I was actually inspired by a local vegan restaurant near us that does have a recipe like this, and this tasted identical to it. And so the first thing I'm doing is adding together some flour, garlic powder, salt, pepper, as well as some water. It's about equal parts water to flour, and then I'm just mixing that all up. And then I'm adding in some of my chopped cauliflower, and I chop these up pretty small, pretty much in like bite-sized pieces. And then once the cauliflower is totally coated, I went ahead and spread them across a prepared baking sheet. And I tried to spread them out a little bit so that they wouldn't get too stuck together. And then once I was done with that, I threw it into the oven at 450 degrees for 20 minutes. And I did flip it once in the middle of that process. And then next I melted in 2 tablespoons of this Earth Balance vegan butter, and I'm mixing that with Red Hot. Yes, Red Hot is vegan, which is awesome because I could put that on anything pretty much. And then I'm putting in that baked cauliflower and mixing it all in, putting it back onto the sheet pan and sticking it back into the oven for about another 15 to 20 minutes. You just want it to get nice and crispy. And the vegan mac and cheese I'm going to be using for this is this pre-packaged one from Daiya. It's their deliciously dairy-free cheddar-style mac and cheese. And this is so good. Even the most die-hard mac and cheese fans, I feel like, would totally approve of this because it is really, really tasty. And I'm pretty much just cooking it according to the directions on the packaging. Couldn't be more simple than that. And then I split the mac and cheese between 2 bowls and added the buffalo cauliflower over top. And the mixture of these 2 flavors and textures are so, so good. The mac and cheese is really gooey and comforting, and then the cauliflower is really spicy and kind of crunchy. Out of all the recipes I made, this one was my boyfriend's absolute favorite. So if you have anyone around you that has some reservations about vegan food, make this. Trust me, they will fall in love. And that is it for day 2 for my vegan challenge week. Thanks again for watching. Remember, I do have another video that's going to be coming out tomorrow with some more recipes, so I will see you guys then. Bye.